Hello, my name is Arsh Desai, and I'm going to be talking today about the role that the news media plays through both text and through images in American public policy decisions and American public opinions towards firearms. And so I'm going to start off first in talking about this search query where at the UMKC University Library Search Database, I search gun violence, and I get these four results that pop up. And the first source, if we can look at it, talks about the Virginia Tech shooting and how gun violence annually, quote, annually claims around 30,000 lives, 82 each day. And so the fact that this source goes into the number of deaths that occur as a result of guns and specifically narrows it down to deaths per day to kind of contextualize it for readers shows that uh, it's really a source that's going to be used to emphasize gun control um, towards a more regulatory lean or regulatory balance. And this gun control stance is one that's present in pretty much all the sources that you can see as a result of gun violence. For example, we can look at the fourth source, proposals to reduce gun violence, protecting our communities while respecting the Second Amendment. So this one talks about respecting the Second Amendment and it talks about gun rights, but it puts protecting our communities first. It's protecting our communities while respecting the Second Amendment, not respecting the Second Amendment while protecting our communities. And so it clearly places emphasis on gun control if needed, with more regards, however, to gun rights. And let's change up our search query, or rather, what we searched. And if I enter media gun control, these are the sources I get. So the first one talks about news media and gun control. There has been, quote, much debate on the way that the mainstream media represents the gun control issue, unquote. And this talks about uh, how the mainstream media focuses its events and focuses its attention on how specific gun violence events have started and what they've led to. And the fact that this source uses the word, quote, mainstream is representative of the source's leanings. Because if the source uses mainstream media separately and it distinguishes itself from mainstream media as this source does, then we can clearly tell that this source is not mainstream. And so it's going to be biased towards um, the gun rights side and the gun freedom side, which helps support it essentially. And that's something that shows when you search gun control, because gun control activists don't use the same language um, that gun rights activists do. And so they'll both try to antagonize the other position while enhancing their own position. And finding specific search results without in adding too much bias into it, um, and or even adding bias into my search keywords, that was a big issue that I had to focus on with respect to my presentation. And okay, lastly here we've got some images. On the left we've got an image from Piers Morgan Tonight, and on the right we've got an image from CNN's The Situation Room. And these are two shows that have or are currently airing on CNN, and they're talking about the AR-15 and how we need to potentially have gun control aspects with respect to certain parts of the gun or outright ban the gun itself. And so we see that they use images of the AR-15 here, and they use quite threatening images. The gun looks scary if we just look at it outright, all black, pretty long. They have some scopes that looks like they have multiple barrels, and so from this, the casual viewer might get turned off from guns. The average American doesn't own guns. Actually, gun owners are a minority in America, and so the casual viewer might look at it and say, "That's something we need to ban because it looks scary." And so the way the media uses the images kind of plays a big role in what the viewers are going to think.